Happy May 22nd. JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today. And yes, it is a happy day. Bitcoin is at all-time highs. It is in the untested zone. There are clear skies ahead. Let's hope that we keep on rocking. It's been a pretty fun 24, 48 hours for sure. Today, we are going to talk about the reality that strategy, MSTR, did struggle yesterday. We're going to talk about that for sure. We're going to go through a Bitcoin treasury company checklist. So as you're looking at these other treasury companies, what should you be thinking about? Obviously, the $22 billion in unrealized gains that Strategy is now sitting upon is an absolute explosion. We're going to start our countdown to June 30th, where Q2 closes, and just cross our fingers because then the S&P 500 will be following at some point. And listen, Strategy is still on top. We go through that as well as a bunch of other things. There's so much in the news today. There's absolutely so much going on. So stick around for all this great stuff. And remember, this is not financial advice, but please do comment below if you're appreciating these daily videos. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your likes. So thank you for both. And let's dive on in. All right, we're going to start with a little shot of the Bitcoin chart right now, and this is at 9:41 a.m. Eastern. So I don't know what the price of Bitcoin is when you're watching this, but as we're speaking right now, 111,177, and this is just a day to celebrate as Bitcoin is at all-time highs, is testing new all-time highs. Very exciting time. So let's just be excited about that. And listen, we talked about how MSTR did struggle yesterday, and here's what IBIT is actually doing today. And this is the only thing I think you should be comparing strategy to as far as percentage wise, because this company right here has the same trading hours. I say this stock has the same trading hours as MSTR. So right now it's up 2.56% today so far. And MSTR having a little bit of a better day today than it did yesterday, up about 4% right now. So not quite 2x, but somewhere around like the 1.75x that we kind of have signed up for and that we hope for over time. And it just adjusted a little bit down, and now it's just under 4%. So this is the comparison. Obviously, yesterday was a struggle. We're going to be talking about that a little bit as we come up in future posts here. But listen, this is the reality: is that MSTR is looking to trade at about a 1.5 to 2x what Bitcoin does. It is not always going to do that on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute basis, but over 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, that is what Michael Saylor's goal is. That is what Strategy's goal is. So if I would just recommend this to anybody, like, stop freaking out about the intraday, the intra week of how Strategy is comparing to Bitcoin, and zoom out and look at the month, the 6 month. And they're not always going to be exact either. Not always going to be a 1.5 to 2x, but that is the goal of Strategy. That's the goal of what Michael Saylor is doing. And I trust in that. And I'm letting him cook. I'm letting Strategy cook. I'm letting them do their thing. And with that being said, let's move on over to Michael Saylor, who I love this post. Once you have all the Bitcoin, I'll go back to the future. And of course, he's just alluding to the fact that he is from the future. He used a DeLorean to go ahead and come back, buy all of the Bitcoin that he could in the quickest time possible, and let all of us know what to do. And when he's done with this mission, he'll go back to the future. So I just love Michael Saylor's personality. I love his jokes. And here's another great one: get in the car. Because listen, this car is taking off. We know it. You know it. The car has already taken off. So let's just strap on in. And then this post from Michael Saylor: if you're not buying Bitcoin at the all-time high, you're leaving money on the table. And guess what? I just purchased my MSTR today. So I'm buying at the all-time high. At least, when Bitcoin's at the all-time high, I'm buying MSTR at that all-time high because I'm buying every single day. So I'm not leaving money on the table, according to Michael Saylor here, which is pretty sweet. And then listen, he was on a tear yesterday. Of course, it's a good time. So he just wants us to know that no one has ever lost money buying Bitcoin. And of course, he's saying that anybody that's bought Bitcoin in the past 15 years, you're up. You're up. I mean, literally, there might be a 0.01% of people that bought at like a 111,600, and now it's at 111,300. So those people are technically, quote unquote, down a little bit, but essentially, we're at the all-time highs right now. And so pretty exciting to be able to state that with finality. Now, listen, we can always count on Jeff to come through when things just don't seem to exactly be playing out how we want them to, how we expect them to. So he posts a lot of confusion about MSTR relative to Bitcoin and other treasury companies right now. This is his preface. I am long everything in the Bitcoin ecosphere right now. And yes, MSTR is lagging. I'm well aware. And he's talking about MSTR yesterday. It was lagging. Does that mean I'm selling? Absolutely not. Some thoughts on what's going on with MSTR. One, 60% of MSTR convertible debt is in the high gamma zone, approaching conversion price. Lots of arb trading at the $433 conversion and $672 conversion. Two, channels to short MSTR and long Bitcoin in scale, along with many others. So there are people that are betting against MSTR. It's always been the case. We'll see who wins. Three, people rotating to chase Bitcoin yield and short squeezes, taking off everywhere. So people are just looking to do this. They're rotating to chase these Bitcoin yield and short squeezes, like with MetaPlanet and with Kindly and with all these other great companies. Four, the ATM deployed. ATM deployed. Listen, Michael Saylor hissed the ATM. Jeff is viewing this as filling up your rocket with as much gas as humanly possible before takeoff, buying MetaPlanet worth of Bitcoin every single week, literally. And listen, number five, he puts the Misty assets under management, AUM, has doubled in the last 3 months to 4 billion, which adds more than double the weekly short pressure. So there's just a lot of short pressure on MSTR. Could a short squeeze be coming? We'll see. Six, entrance of new income generating vol products like iMist and MST, which is even more pressure. So here's some facts. Balance sheet leverage is at all-time lows, 13% and 8% on pro forma. Two, holding 56 billion in net capital. This would be the 180th largest company in market cap alone, bigger than Aflac, Allstate, and Roblox. Three, can issue $14 billion worth of debt and still be within target leverage ratios. Four, fixed income products, Strike and Strife, have drastically increased creditworthiness and are gaining traction. Five, Strike and Strife result in delayed no dilution, unlike convertible bonds, which have 70% dilutive nature on day one. And six, there's only one company in the world with enough cash to potentially catch MSTR. Just one company. That's it. MSTR has been de-risked drastically. There's never been a better time to be a Bitcoiner and holding Bitcoin equities. Retire your bloodlines. Everyone here is early AF. I am still trying to get text messages. I am still yet to get text messages from family members or friends. This is all flying under the radar. Let's go. And then Jeff also posted, what's my duration for holding MSTR? Through the flippening of the 30-year treasury and Strife yields. Bitcoin fixed the money. Strike and Strife are going to fix the bond market. And by the way, they just announced a $2.1 billion Strife ATM. So that's not going to be diluting / accretive dilution of MSTR shares when they hit that. It's just going to be accretive for MSTR holders like you and me. And by the way, I own some Strife. I said, why would I have cash? I want to put some of my cash that I have into Strife and get 10%, which I definitely did. Most don't comprehend how big MSTR is going to get. One more time, most don't comprehend how big MSTR is going to get. LA Dozier 21 need some laser eyes. And then the last post from Jeff today is credit quality is rocket ship. These are the vehicles for Bitcoin to go from a $2 trillion asset to a $100 trillion asset. They figured it out. These two vehicles are going to get them there. They're both trading above par right now, which is very awesome. Chris says, below is the checklist I use to evaluate potential Bitcoin treasury company investment opportunities. There are other factors I also consider, but these are the 7 most important. Bitcoin treasury companies do not have to tick every box, but ideally, they need to be hitting at least 5 out of 7, depending on which 5 they are. There are a lot of nuances. I will unpack in more detail in an upcoming video. So for Chris, he wants his Bitcoin treasury company checklist to look like, is the company founder-led? Does the company have a bold leader? Does the company have an active Bitcoin acquisition strategy? Does the company have a proven track record of purchasing Bitcoin? Does the company have a compelling and contagious story? Is the leader of the company a Bitcoin maxi? Is the MNAV low relative to Bitcoin yield potential? And of course, strategy does a better job than anybody hitting all these boxes, period, end of story. Matt says, MSTR has the most to gain from a Bitcoin run to new highs, harder for competition to buy a lot of coins. It provides room for MNAV expansion. Short interest is very high, run it. And this was 2 days ago that Matt posted this. I'm sure he's still pretty pumped about the future of Bitcoin and MSTR. And again, I had Matt on my show yesterday. He talked about the $750 price prediction for July for MSTR. This is when Bitcoin heads to all-time highs. Capital from Metaplan and other new shiny Bitcoin and LBEs, Bitcoin treasury companies and LBEs, which are leveraged Bitcoin equities, will rotate back to the king. And here we go, ready for another breakout. Time will tell. All right. Adrian wants us to know that MSTR has $22 billion in unrealized gains. Yeah, we're going higher. I mean, look at these unrealized gains that MSTR's the strategy is currently sitting on. It's insane. It's 22 billion and going up as Bitcoin goes up. Like, let's have this. I mean, June 30th cannot come soon enough. Let's get there above 97K. Let's do it. And then strategy just wants us to know that after a week of trading on news and tariffs and torts, our strategy remains focused on Bitcoin torque, gain in yield. How's that working out for you, MSTR? A lot better than everybody else. And then this is the 3-month return. Strategy is greater than gold, greater than software, greater than AI, cars, commerce, social phones, and search. Winner, winner, chicken flippin' dinner. Now I've got 2 great video clips of Michael Saylor you don't want to miss when we get back from thanking our sponsors. Online shopping has never been easier, but this ease is new enough that we remember a time when entering all our credit card info every time we purchased something online was the norm. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore thanks to Shopify. That's right, that purple Shop Pay button that makes it seamless to purchase online is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business no matter your experience. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and they make it super easy to get up and running with beautiful, ready-to-go templates and built-in marketing and email tools. Worried about tracking inventory, payments, and analytics? No stress. Shopify helps you manage it all from a single dashboard. And back to that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/MSTR. Go to shopify.com/MSTR, shopify.com/MSTR. So check it out. I know we're all looking to stack more Bitcoin and MSTR, and to do that, we need more fiat. So let's chat about our sponsor, ShipStation. We all know the market can seem pretty chaotic at times, but if you're in charge of order fulfillment for your business, you already understand chaos. While we might not be able to help calm the chaos in the market, ShipStation is here to help when it comes to shipping and fulfillment. I've used ShipStation to easily automate shipping to customers around the globe. My favorite part about the platform, managing orders in one simple dashboard makes an otherwise massive task feel pretty darn simple. Plus, ShipStation not only integrates with the services and selling channels you already use, it's also the fastest, most affordable way to ship products to your customers. ShipStation hooks you up with discounts up to 88% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates, and up to 90% off FedEx rates. Calm the chaos of order fulfillment with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to shipstation.com/MSTR to sign up for your free trial, or click the pinned comment below this video. That's shipstation.com/MSTR. And thank you for supporting our sponsors that allow myself and my team to continue to produce these daily videos for you for free. Now back to the show.
So literally what I do is turn it around to you and say, if you don't think it's the most interesting, tell me what asset in the world is more interesting right now to more people, because I don't think you can name one.
Well, I think it's interesting because of all of the conversations that it sparked and the way that it's become very political, and it really brings out the emotions of everyone involved, either positive or negative. But the things that you mentioned there about why it's interesting, like, again, a lot of it has to do. I mean, you mentioned the fact that it trades on weekends, which other assets don't, but the idea that it is.
Ed, come on. First of all, the number one performing stock in the S&P 500, mine.
Yeah.
We're up 30x.
Yeah.
That's 3 times more than NVIDIA. That's interesting. How about the number one options market in the S&P 500? Mine. We have the most intense options, like 130% of market cap. The most profitable convertible bond, the number one convertible bonds in the marketplace, MicroStrategy.
Yeah.
Right? it's interesting because people are making money off of it.
Bitcoin represents the greatest digital transformation of the 21st century. It represents digital capital. The global wealth is distributed across assets that provide utility and others that preserve capital. But risk is destroying trillions of dollars of that capital every single year. And investors are turning to digital capital in the form of Bitcoin in order to avoid that risk. Digital capital is economically and technically superior to physical capital, and it represents a revolutionary advance in capital preservation. The asset class itself is growing from trillions to hundreds of trillions of dollars, and it is backed by digital power along with political and economic power. Bitcoin's the best asset you can own. The numbers speak for themselves. It makes a lot more sense to buy Bitcoin than to buy your own stock back, or to hold Bitcoin rather than holding bonds. If you're going to outperform, you're going to need Bitcoin. Luckily, you have an alternative. Public support for Bitcoin is surging, as is support for the US Bitcoin Strategic Reserve.
Sell them into Bitcoin. That way, we wouldn't have to use any new dollars.
As is Wall Street support.
I believe Bitcoin is legitimate.
And the President of the United States says,
never sell your Bitcoin, right?
That's why we're entering year one of the crypto renaissance. And you have a choice to make. Cling to the past or embrace the future. Divest billions of dollars and slow your growth rate. Invest billions of dollars and accelerate your growth rate.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR Today. And here's my receipt from yesterday. We had a purchase of 0.507 share of MSTR at 200, or I spent $211 to do that. And I filled at $416. So this is my quest of buying $210 to $211 every single trading day of 2025. Dollar cost averaging, and revealing to you the entire portfolio every single Sunday. Now, remember, when the market's going up, there's going to be even more people that are screaming from the rooftops. The top is in, the top is in, the crash is coming, the crash is coming. And guess what? Nobody knows what they're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. Michael Saylor never knows what he's talking about in the short term. He admits that. He's very long-term biased, and he believes with strong conviction, as do I, that Bitcoin is going up forever long-term. We don't know short-term. We don't know medium-term. And when you have the inevitability of Bitcoin and of strategy, you really don't care as much. Of course, it hurts when it crashes. Of course, it hurts when there's a down day, but you're able to get through it and care less than people that are trading it every single day and freaking out on leverage and option traders and all those other individuals. Good luck to them. I'm long-term focused. I am strapped in. I will be passing these shares along to my son, Bo, at some point in the future. And I love the ability that I have to be able to do that. I mean, I only wish my dad could have passed along some shares of Amazon that he bought back in 1997 or whatever year they ended up launching. So anyways, let's just stick together. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I'm going to obviously keep kicking out videos every single day during the bull markets. I did it during our little struggle bust that we had back when I was buying MSTR at $236. Like, I loved those days, but they were also tough because, of course, the stock was down from its recent highs. But listen, you know that this is inevitable. I know that this is inevitable. And that's bull with a capital Bitcoin, BULL. And like Michael Saylor said, or says, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.